Good morning, good morning, good morning, Liberty County and surrounding communities. It's good to be before you once again to give our COVID update. We have changed our schedule just a little bit due to the changes in the numbers that are out there, which you're going to hear from the gentleman that followed me in just a little bit. But we want to, while we have this moment, to compliment you on your compliance. I want to compliment you on hanging in there with us for a year now. So we're so very appreciative of that. We do want to remind you that we're still in a pandemic. It's not over. We are all on guard about what to expect post St. Patrick's Day and post Easter. So while we have opened up some of our facilities, and you'll hear about that in a little bit too, we remind you to please be careful and to please remember the three: wash your hands and wear your mask and do your social distancing. Let's not stop doing those things, because we certainly don't want to go back to where we were a year ago. While we appreciate spring and all that it brings to us, and while we appreciate being able to perhaps get back to some form of normalcy, we still want to be on guard, we want to be compliant, we want to be found doing the right things that will allow us to continue our progress, so that this time next year, we will certainly not need these things that we have. So thank you again for your compliance. Thank you for being a committee of one, and we remind you to do that. Tell others, remind others. We know that a lot of the people are back in restaurants and they're back in stores, and they're all about the community. I saw the young men playing basketball yesterday down by Stafford Park. We call it next to Popeyes, and they were having fun. So we know that's part of that's therapeutic, part of that's recreational, part of that's just good for people to get out again and to socialize and fellowship with their friends and our family members. So we're happy we're able to do that, but we want to do it in a guarded position, in a guarded stance, so that we don't revert back to where we were a year ago. So thank you so much once again. At this time, we're going to have some people who follow me. We'll give you some greetings from their respective entities, and also some statistics and updates on what's going on here in Liberty County. Following me now will be the Honorable Larry Baker, the Mayor of the City of Walthourville.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the citizens of Walthourville, greetings. We'd like to concur with what Chairman Lovette said. We're not out of the woods yet, but we have come a mighty long way, and we can't give up now. The City of Walthourville haven't opened their park just yet, but in a few days we will be opening our park, Fraser Park on Shaw Road. We need to make sure that everything is in place for the citizens of Walthourville. At this time, I yield to the city manager, Mr. Kenneth Howard, City of Hinesville.
Thank you, Mayor Baker, and to Chairman Lovett, thank you for the work that you do as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say that we, as Mayor Baker said, we've come a long way. We have, since the beginning of this pandemic, Liberty County has had roughly 3,200 cases, right at 3,200 cases. And over 50 deaths has taken place in Liberty County. And even though those numbers seem to be high, depending on how you look at it, we're still proud of what you have done to this point, because working together, we have been able to really curb the overwhelming spread of the virus. We've had some uptick here and there, but for the most part, we have been consistent as to what we have been doing to mitigate the spread. And I would like to just add that recently the eligibility criteria for COVID-19 vaccination has greatly expanded. What do I mean by that? Now, any Georgia resident age of 16 and older is eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccination, and that is significant because right now, from the age of 15, and I'm not going to go through the groups, but from the age of 15 to 54, we're less than 13% of those that are in our community. And if you go from 15 to 19, the age 15 to 19, that's only 1%. I mean 16 to 19, that's only 1%. and then the percentage increase as the group, age group increases. But those who are 65 and older, we're over 50% in that age group, so that's good. But we want to encourage everyone to please get your vaccination shot. You know, that is something that will help us in the end. All the efforts that we are making, this is the final step, perhaps, in that process. We understand to achieve herd immunity is going to be difficult because right now, those that are 15 years and younger basically cannot get the shot or not eligible for the shot. However, there are some information that is forthcoming that would perhaps add another age group to that category. So we are working diligently to ensure that we are back to some sense of normalcy, as the chairman said. Now, as it relates to the city of Hinesville activities and what we are doing, one of the major point of reference that I would like to point out is the activities, outdoor activities. I know that we've had businesses and organizations, nonprofit organizations and clubs asking for event permits and things of that nature. We are looking at those. We're considering those on a case-by-case basis. We are asking for those who may submit an application for an event outside. We ask that you basically incorporate your CDC guidelines and mitigation efforts to ensure the safety of everyone that's involved in the activities related to your event. And we're not going to say none of them are going to be approved, but likewise, we're not going to say all of them are going to be approved. We're going to look at them on a case-by-case basis, and then we'll make that decision accordingly. So please just help us out because it is a difficult task. My staff has done a wonderful job. They've done a great job in trying to work through a pandemic. Nothing is perfect. We understand that. But we ask for, the very least that I ask for is courtesy to my staff because they are basically faced with a difficult situation in trying to navigate through this pandemic, which is unprecedented in our days. And in addition to that, we are excited about this young man. I know that I want to close with him, and then I'll call on Mr. Brown, but Mr. Davion Mitchell, we know that he won, he and the Baylor Bears won the National Basketball Championship, the NCAA, and we're excited about what Davion's future is, and he's done a great job. A very, very humble young man, has represented us very well, and so we're just excited about all that is coming to him. So we look forward to seeing him come back to Liberty County so that we can honor him in a way that is fitting to recognize his achievement. And with that, we just ask you to wear your mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. As the mayor, Alan Brown, had a conflict for this meeting, and I know that he would end his comments with those words. And so without any further ado, I'm going to call on Mr. Joy Brown, County Administrator for the Liberty County Board of Commissioners, to come and give his report.
Hey, thanks, Kenny. And it's good to be before you again. Thanks for bearing with us as we changed our format here just a little bit and our timing some. I think I'm going to read off probably just from a frame of mind here. So a couple things, I guess, just know that as far as the testing goes, Kenny mentioned some numbers there. Our transmission rate is still above that 100 average daily transmission rate, which the key is getting it below that. But hey, the good news is now we've come from somewhere around 500 in between 100 to 200. I think that number was actually somewhere around 128. It's as I looked this morning, so it was pretty close. A number that is a little bit disappointing though is the number of vaccinations, at least that DPH is holding on their website. It indicates that somewhere below 20% of the populace of Liberty County as of the 6th had been vaccinated. So I know a varying lot of reasons from that, and again, those numbers may be slightly off, although all the vaccination providers are supposed to be providing that information directly to DPH. And so, again, I think a little bit of disappointment there and some hesitancy to get that vaccine. In talking about vaccines, there will be an opportunity at the Schumann Center on April the 14th. If you register through DPH, somewhat of a mass vaccination indoor clinic. But again, that's not a drive-up. That's a required reservation type event. You need to go to DPH, look at their site. You can register for the vaccines, not only for that day, but for other days that they administer the various forms of the vaccines for COVID. In addition, remember too, there are some other providers of the vaccine. Those are also listed on the DPH Coastal Georgia site. Those are some private providers out there. One of those is Hinesville Pharmacy, who has indicated that they have been able to get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Sometimes towards the middle of this month, sometime around the 15th, they indicate that they may be available again there. They're waiting another shipment to come in. So again, contact that provider directly, contact those other providers directly to see what vaccines they may have. But above all, get that vaccine. Again, I know there's been some hesitancy there, but there's really no medical reason that you should not get that. Although I would say, if you have any doubts, talk to your primary care provider. Talk to your doctor about that, as I did, as a matter of fact, before you get your vaccine. The county, as far as its protocols, is remaining stable. We are still under a governor's emergency order, although that has changed some. It can be found at the governor's site. All of his orders can. You can read those in very detailed versions there. But your entry to county buildings are still requiring masking. They're still requiring temperature checks. Remember, as long as the emergency order is in effect, then local government structure can implement their own security measures for protection of you and their personnel. So we continue to do that. We also continue to limit access at this time to county commission meetings still while we're under this state of emergency as declared by the governor. But feel free to watch us on Facebook. As far as the court system goes, the last emergency order issued by Harold Melton, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, extends until April 8th, which is this week. So we look to him to either extend that further or to make some modifications to it. One of the modifications that he has made, and I think I mentioned this last time, is the resumption of jury trials. Actually, he authorized those under some protocols back in October. Now those have been stepped up. You may remember that we talked about protocols for the Atlantic Judicial Circuit, which is where our courts fall under. There were protocols that had to be developed per the Chief Justice's order back at that time. So those have been put into place. They vary from county to county as far as the resumption of these jury trials, but just be aware that jury trials now have resumed, and there's quite a backlog of cases. And so they're actually working through some cases I know from several years ago now that are coming up for jury trial. The other thing I want to mention, I think before I close, is that recreation activities have changed again since we talked. The commissioners lifted the ban on outdoor venues. And so the chairman mentioned earlier, coming by the Spud Webb basketball court, as a matter of fact, down by Stafford Park. That venue is now open. You are eligible to go through the recreation department to schedule outdoor pavilion type use and some of those type things. If you'll visit their website or contact them directly at 912-876-5359, they can give you those protocols for the use and the sign-up forms that are required there. So again, still some protocols there to follow in those usage patterns. All of the indoor venues still remain closed at this time. So other than that, I want to just, I guess, do a double take here on what these gentlemen have mentioned, and Kenny and those, is that you've done so good. I mean, I'm so proud of this community. I'm so proud to be a part of it, and to have you in the community, to have you out there helping us as local government entities as we have worked through this. And God willing, we'll continue to work through it. We'll get even better. It certainly has been a learning time, but we're going to get there. And yes, it was good a couple nights ago to be sitting in front of the TV when they announce where those people are from. And I tell you, as a lifelong resident here, when they said from Hinesville, Georgia, and I thought, wow, that was great. Davion, just, you know, if sometime maybe you'll see this broadcast, just know, son, how very proud we are of you and others that are out there representing your community and doing so well. With that, I say God bless. Please get your vaccine. Please continue to mask. Please continue to do the smart things, and that is try to keep your distance. And until next time, we'll see you.
Thank you, A-Team. I guess a point of bragging rights, you know, Davion Mitchell's grandmother works for the county, so we're happy to have Miss Brenda, who works for the rec department. She does a very fine job, and she has been an instrumental part of her grandson's life, so we're proud of what that means to our community. I'll tell them it's not that Baylor won the championship, Liberty County won the championship. Liberty County won the championship. Let me just reiterate what others said before me. Please consider the vaccine. And I didn't know the stats for what they are, Mr. Brown, 20%, that's very low. So I ask you to please consider the vaccine. Call around to find the vaccine that you want and who's provided for it, but let's do that. Listen, I was coming back from a trade police from the industrial park down at Midbuilding yesterday, and because we're getting ready to put a water tower there to provide water resources to that park and some fire suppression. And I saw a rezoning sign at the old Huddle House, and I came through, I saw work being done at the old Kobe's, and I saw work being done at the old Hardee's, which is going to be a smoothie restaurant. So my point to you is we got a lot going on here in Liberty County, but we can't fully take advantage of it and comfortably take advantage of it without being vaccinated, so that we can all be comfortable and enjoy all those things, to include the recreational areas that they just talked about. So we have all that before us, but we can't comfortably enjoy that, even going to church, you know, without you being vaccinated. So please, ma'am, please, sir, consider it. I know Liberty Regional still has a vaccine, and it's easy to get appointments now. At first there was a rush on that, but now it's easy to get appointments. So please consider that, if you will. Please, ma'am, and please, sir, that we might all enjoy a great 2021 and certainly a fabulous 2022. So on behalf of all of us here on the A-Team, thank you again for tuning in to us. But in the meantime, don't walk away from washing your hands, wearing your mask, and watching your distance. Thank you. Have a great day.